Hello, dear friends. It's very difficult to summarize so much interesting information, but this is an attempt. Opinion piece. Dragons speak. Amazing changes. Powerful rays of sun. Massive tipping point. People are waking up. Summer of discontent. A very troubled planet. The big change is happening. Changes in the coming months. Let's start. There are several million white knights walking all over the earth, inside the earth, and aboard ships. All are now in a heavy lifting phase as they release thousands of years of dark etheric mechanisms from the earth frequency and consciousness of humanity, according to the dragons via Caroline, Oceana Ryan. This is done in part so that when the new system is promulgated, it will be accepted as true and real, and so that human energy will be open to change. This requires quite a considerable adjustment and frequency raising of all humankind, in particular that which is permeated with despair, in which trauma has pushed the soul of many people to identify with their physical body. It takes considerable energy work to lift many millions of people from a place of complacency, in the sense that they feel that no real change is coming. They are used to picking up any little crumb that may find its way to their destination, but for the most part, they don't even expect that. You must open your heart and mind to accept that something very positive can happen for the entire planet. Most white knights are tunneling through ancient forms of opposition, including the high technology created to block rising consciousness and old spells that must be broken, old life forms and spiritual presences that must be expelled from the planet. We also face new forms of opposition that were set up to cause destruction should this blessing come close to coming true. None of this opposition can resist the resolve of humankind and the forces of light. We are winning over the old forms of resistance to change, but the hearts of humankind must continue to be opened so that the higher consciousness of the majority of people can open and await the promised blessings. Many of us feel exhausted most days, and also like we are not fully present, like a part of us is somewhere else. We are acting like Samwise talking Frodo to the mountain to throw the ring into the fire and start again despite the doubts and hesitations. The changes occurring now are staggering in their magnitude, and many starseeds have worked very hard to open consciousness to the new higher forms of light that are breaking into the world very visibly, and this affects all human beings. The sun's rays have never been so powerful. Many people's deep memories of great civilizations are also opening up, such as Lemuria, the high period of Egypt, and Atlantis, as well as life in higher dimensions on the inner earth, which continues to rise to the surface. You can integrate this light cause and remain stable in the heart mind body system. Many despair, feeling that Gisara may never happen. You see scenes of devastation from war zones, hear about or experience disaster or extreme weather, but you intuitively feel that the earth and the beings on its desire purity, calm, restoration, and healing. You see or experience much shock and emotional loss as corrupt and controlled beings continue to appear to be in control, and you wonder how can the summer of well discontent be raised to a higher level. However, you are also aware of, on a deep level, that what you see now is by no means the full story. We understand the feeling of sadness and exhaustion from many days, but all the signs are there, including the current chaos, that the great change is already happening, that great advance that you have been crying out for. The unfolding of all kinds of blessings is happening right now, despite the desperate actions of the old order to stop the unavoidable, the liberation of the earth and all beings on it. News. Thousands of people gather in front of the White House to protest against the war in Gaza. Macron faces defeat in the EU elections. The BRICS and the new financial center, the agenda of the St. Petersburg Forum. Hungary believes that the West wants to defeat Russia to access its resources. Spain. The 2024 European elections will cost Spain 198 million euros. The state will pay the parties 32,508 euros for each seat and €1 for each vote in these European elections. The average price of fuel is approaching summer at annual lows. 77% of Spanish children would like to travel to space, according to a study. Tai Chi, yoga, ping pong, golf, or even sevillanas against loss of balance. The career that no one wants to study but has a 100% chance of finding a job is called agricultural engineering. Curious. SpaceX puts 22 Starlink satellites into orbit to bring internet to the entire world. Drones transport loads of up to 15 kilos in the extreme conditions of Everest. Earth and space share the same turbulence. A G2 class solar storm is possible on June 10th, when a flare is expected to hit Earth. A direct hit would cause a severe storm, but this would only be an indirect hit with moderate storms. Sand looting. It is the most demanded raw material after water. It is used to make concrete, chips, detergent, paints, and even artificial islands. The big cities are hungry for sand, and to satisfy it, the world's beaches are being plundered. Bilderberg. According to Benjamin Fulford, the Davos faction behind von der Leyen is trying to surrender, as has been revealed in the Bilderberg meeting talks in Spain. Daniel Stulin tells Alex Jones that Bilderberg is a place where he tells mid-level people what high-level people have decided. The Bilderbergers have the dream of creating a new synthetic human being. Then you can make as many human slaves with limited consciousness as you need, he says. However, Stulin says that with the failure of this plan, the elite who gathered there were scared and didn't know what to do. What we are seeing right now has only happened twice in the last 2,000 years. The first was around the 4th and 5th centuries, when the Roman Empire collapsed and the feudalism occurred, and then about 1,000 years later, between the 16th and 17th centuries, feudalism collapsed and was replaced by modern capitalism, which today is in decline, so they don't know what to replace it with. First, you need to implode the current system, which is why we are heading into a summer of discontent. Reflections. According to Michael Snyder, when the Ark of the Covenant is revealed to the world, it will be the largest archaeological bomb in human history. The Temple Institute says it knows exactly where it is and that it will be removed when the time is right. The death of truth. According to Paul Craig Roberts, every day it is becoming more difficult and risky to provide information that differs from official narratives. Alex Jones is under assault again, and Tucker Carlson was wicked out of Fox News. Telling the truth and doing fact-based analysis is no way to make a living. Regret. Taking responsibility is the basis of any healthy society. According to St. John Chrysostom, the purpose of repentance is healing and transformation. There are 5 paths, and they are so simple that they can be practiced by any human being, regardless of any dogma or belief. The first way of repentance is contrition. The second way is forgiveness. The third way is prayer. The fourth way is a kind deed towards others. And the fifth way is humility. Decline. Emmanuel Todd predicted the fall of the Soviet Union 15 years earlier. In his latest book, he explains the reasons why previously dominant countries are experiencing irreversible decline. In his latest book, The Defeat of West, Todd points out 3 main causes of decline: the industrial collapse of the West, the creation of a GDP of a fictitious nature, the disappearance of Protestantism, which supported the economic system, and the preference of the rest of the world by Russia rather than by the West. The world is going to change. According to Saratoga Ocean, the Earth is not a school. The Earth is a very troubled planet that is experiencing its dark night of the soul and that desperately needs to evolve from duality, because now its very existence is in danger thanks to the madness that has engulfed it. He believes the world is going to change in the next 6 to 8 months. This is going to initiate a massive turning point along with an epic battle. We have to be prepared for almost anything. Since 2020, the controllers have put us through a series of endless traumas and abuses, so humanity lives in a state of perpetual shock. We need to find some sense of peace and stability. According to Steve Biko, given the existence of a divine plan, the greatest blessing we could bring would be to return to the center, to the point of balance, to the place of calm, which turns out to be the Earth. That point of balance is a portal to higher dimensions. All the good things in life can be found on the other side of the door of the heart. When the ring of fire or the opening of the planetary heart arrives, we will be immersed for a time in that higher dimensional love, which can lead to an experience that no many people will have had before. Ascension itself is simply a total and permanent opening of the heart. All questions will be answered with that ring of fire. We will be immersed in a river of endless love, and no other desire will arise. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.